Hello and welcome to Heal with Ty and Kara. We are continuing our series on Hades and Persephone and their masculine and feminine energies. And I'm excited about this because of Kara and her book that she's got and she's writing. And it's a beautiful book. But I'm going to let her kick us off here. And so welcome.
Thanks, love. I'm gonna go back to Hades here for a minute. So, Hades in Greek mythology was very, very revered but feared. Like there wasn't a lot known about him, and what was known about him was often misunderstood. Like some of the context from when we think of him as the evil or like the devil almost with blue flames, and he's the guardian of hell. And what he actually was just very deep, very centered, very high moral code, very firm in his duties, right? Souls came in and they did not come out, no matter what flattery you use, no matter what manipulations, whatever. He's immovable in his duties to guide souls through the underworld, like immovable like death itself. And but he also came with a past. So he hated the surface level world. So the ironic thing about Hades, which is really cool. So Hades was actually the oldest, not Zeus. But Zeus was kind of wheeling and dealing. He wanted he wanted the whole world to himself, right? So they drew straws. Zeus got the sky, Hades got the underworld, Poseidon got the sea, and the earth was given to all of them to protect equally. So all three of them are supposed to guard the earth. Well, the underworld, the more we go deep and dig into this, the underworld is like the universe itself. It's beyond the veil, right? It is the dark liminal space where all infinite possibilities can be born of fire and ash and rise up like the phoenix to be birthed and create any infinite possibility. But in order to do that, you pass through the underworld, which is a rite of passage and a safe, protected container, which is the divine masculine energy, to heal your traumas, work through them. What we talked about last week is where we're often stuck in this pool of our own trauma stories and our own trauma identity. And we're stuck in there for however long we're stuck in there is up to us. And when we're finally ready to get ourselves out of that, there is no key to get out of that. We are the key to get out of that, right? So when you finally awaken and choose to get out of that own pool of your own trauma story and your own trauma identity, Hades is there as a divine masculine protector and safe container to help you work through your traumas and heal so that you can now move on to the fields of Elysium, which is heaven, which is eternal rest, eternal peace, where you can be God's yourself to create, right, infinite possibilities of abundance and love and safety and amazing things for yourself. So Hades did not participate in any of the surface level politics, the surface level entertainment, the surface level immorality. He could care less if they come to bother him to put in his input during council. He says, I am not concerned with the upper level affairs. That is not my concern. You guys can go be surface level. I'm not a surface level being, right? And so he did take on let's say a girlfriend at one point. And her name was Leuca, which means white, which represents purity, which represents, peace, sanctity. Ironically, the universe always presents us with the exact thing we need to heal and evolve our souls, right? So he had a nymph whose name was Leuca, who represented light and purity, who was the actual opposite of all of those things. And she was a very, so from Hades' perspective, he is a one-woman man. He understands that to fully embody the whole soul, you have to have that sacred union of divine feminine and divine masculine. It's not a multiple person man, it's a one woman man. So he was 100% devoted, 100% committed. Letting her into his realm was a big risk. He trusted her. She got to know some of the secrets of the underworld, which then she tried to exploit, manipulate, abuse. She would bring on entertain other men to try to create these sacred unions. And so then, when he caught her in this, it was just the ultimate betrayal, right? So she's not just cheating on him as a man or a god, she's cheating the sanctity of the soul, that sacred, beautiful law of oneness. So it was a very soul-deep betrayal for him. And so, in the myth, she dies and everybody thinks that this is just a peaceful death, and Hades plants a tree, a white poplar. And to the surface world, they think, oh, it's in honor of her memory and blah, blah, blah. Well, the real story, in what I write in my book, is that poplar, the white poplar, is huge in symbolism. And it stands at the cave entrance, one of the main cave entrances to the underworld. And it stands as a beacon. And it stands as a reminder. The thing about the white poplar is, on one side it's very green and bright. On the other side it's like a white silver. It's a duality, a dark and a light. And so part of Hades' wounding was that this duality was like two-facedness, right? Like corruptness.
Almost like living dual lives.
Dual lives, yeah. Deception, cheating, right? All that toxic stuff. Okay. So he planted that as a big symbol that says, I will not ever allow that to happen again. And, so in his mind, I'm not going to give away what happens in the book, but he takes care of the situation. And that is a symbol of the duality. Well, so what Hades is going to learn here, now that he is in sacred union with Persephone, is that duality is a huge part of sacred union. And he saw the toxic side of it, but with Persephone coming in, he's going to learn, he's got to heal that trauma, that wounding, and he's going to learn the beautiful, sacred, universal law of duality, which is the flip side of that, which is beautiful and really cool. So, should I turn it over to you for a minute?
Sure, yeah. So when this is happening with, I love what you were saying too, as far as, the symbolism of the tree, and then how he took care of it, type things. I'm curious. I'm curious in your mind what that is.
I think you'll enjoy that part of the story, love.
But I love that that thought about Hades and how he handled it, but also the symbolism in the depth of who he is, and his character. So Persephone being now this being, this soul that he can heal with, I think there's a few things that he had to do with Persephone that allowed the healing to take place. And so I just kind of wanted to touch on these things, and then get your thoughts on them too as we're going throughout this part. But
I love it.
I think as Hades, is in this now new partnership or relationship with Persephone, he had to come to a place where he was healing, and the only way he could do that is he had to feel it. I think Hades was one, though, that would bury it, keep it buried. And so it was just something that he avoided, I think, versus healed, right? So, but Persephone was more about blossoming and healing, and, the healing of the soul. And so I think she was able to draw out of him the feelings he needed to feel in order to heal. And so that's the first one, is that he had to feel it in order to heal what was going on with him. She had to bring out the feeling in him in order for that to happen. Now, it may not, as those feelings come up, of course, for Hades, I'm sure that was not easy for him or Persephone to experience the rawness of a human being who's been cheated on and disrespected, and basically you're at this, and you're a god of this underworld trying to help other souls when your current soul is in torment. That's pretty amazing,
yes.
Right? But yet Persephone could see this and see the avoidance part, and helped draw him out of that avoidance and into feeling what he needed to feel in order to heal the damage that was done in there. And so I loved what you talked about with duality. Without Persephone, Hades would have stayed in this, his own dark night of the soul, if that makes sense, and so I love that with Persephone, he's able to feel what he needs to feel in order to heal. And so he had to allow himself to safely feel his emotions instead of suppressing them. And then he had to express and release. Right. And so that's kind of a big thing when you're trying to heal trauma wounds, especially those that come from betrayal. You have to allow yourself to safely feel your emotions. So you've got to be with a safe person like Persephone.
Right. It's like we talked about last week, that Shakti and Shiva. Shakti is that lightning bolt of chaotic energy. And when you're healing from traumas, that is what it is like. You're going to project. You're going to have outbursts. You're going to freak out. You're going to be grumbling and rolling like thunder, right? You're just gonna be it's chaos, it's electrifying, it's not always pretty, and the divine masculine container has to hold that. And it can be very triggering for the person trying to hold space. But you have to remember that you are representing the divine masculine during that time, and you are holding space. You're not fixing. You're allowing them to do exactly what you just said and bring all of it up. They got to feel it. They got to express it. Right. And they have to be received by a safe container.
Yes. I loved what you just said there, by a safe container. That's the key for Hades here, is Persephone had to be the safe container. The beautiful duality part of it is what did then allow the healing to take place. And he was then able to stop suppressing these emotions and actually put them into an expression and release them. And so that brings us into the second piece. So this is like the second part of the healing process that I feel like a lot of times we don't necessarily connect these two when we're trying to heal. Sometimes we think, oh, it's just my mental health. I've got to fix my mental health. But our bodies also need the healing, right?
Right.
So I think this is another thing where the touch between, Hades and Persephone also needed to be safe. So,
right. So to clarify, we're going to talk about like cuddling. We're not going into intimacy here. We're talking about just safe touch, like a caress on your arm or leg and just snuggling up against each other.
yes.
And I'll let you go ahead, baby.
And yeah, so this part, like, and it's important to think of touch in a way, because all of us experience it as humans. We've experienced touch. In some ways, it's been very beautiful, and in other ways, it's been not so beautiful or maybe even traumatic. And so I think when you've had an intimate partner that has disrespected you and cheated on you, and has taken that sacredness, I think, part of touch, and basically kind of squandered it and just rubbed it into the ground under their feet, right?
Or the touch is like taking, like they're taking, not giving, and their feedback and criticism is that you're not good enough, cutting you down and feeling
Right.
so. Rather than feeling renewed and grounded and edified, it's the opposite.
Sure.
It robs and it steals and it diminishes.
Right, and so there's a healing element of touch that needs to take place too when you're trying to recover from trauma. And you need a safe person who can provide that touch. And I think Persephone also was this safe, beautiful soul, beautiful person, beautiful on the inside and the outside, right? And she provided this touch that was gentle, for Hades. As Hades was in probably desperate need at that point for gentle touch, right?
Right.
And so when Hades is trying to reconnect with his own body, because that's part of healing.
Yeah, the somatic healing.
Is coming out of the numbness of trauma. You're coming out of the numbness of trauma. He's trying to reconnect with his own body. And here he has Persephone providing this beautiful, gentle touch. And there isn't anything more healing to the human body than the touch of a very safe, beautiful person on the other side, right? And so that then allows his lungs to actually open up and breathe again.
I love that.
He didn't realize how much he wasn't actually taking full breaths because he's in protective mode. When you're in a protective mode, you are tense.
Yeah.
You're not breathing deeply. You're breathing to prepare for the next fight. And if you've ever been in a fight, you kind of know, you kind of take these short breaths and get ready for the next blow because it's coming and you got to be ready for it, right? And so it's kind of that gentle touch allowed happiness to enter his lungs again.
That's beautiful.
And as he experiences this joy and this happiness in his lungs, he feels it from the inside out because his lungs are actually able to finally release the tension, relax enough to fully embody and enjoy the touch of Persephone. And so this last part of this section, this second piece of reconnecting with the body that Hades had to experience, is that the body had to be able to trust safety again, right? And when you've been through betrayal, sometimes your body is not ever going to trust it, and your mind is like, no, you can't trust this, and so your body stays hyper vigilant and ready for the next fight or the next betrayal or the next bad thing that's going to happen, right? But when Persephone was providing this beautiful touch, and it's gentle and it's real and it's sacred, he was able to trust safety again. And so he's able to fully reconnect with his own body through the touch of Persephone, which helped him come out of that numbness of trauma and actually enjoy this beautiful experience with her. And even in, like we said, we weren't going to go into details of intimacy or anything like that, but even in intimacy, I mean, how much more beautiful is intimacy when you know that the person across from you cares for you, is gentle, is kind, respectful in the way that they touch. Touch is such a sacred, beautiful thing. And so I believe that is where Persephone really provided the most beautiful healing for Hades, and helping him reconnect with the body.
I love that.
And so, all right, so now we're moving on to the third piece, okay? And then I'm going to kind of turn it back over to Kara and let her kind of take us home here. But this third piece is something that I feel like all of us have to do when we're recovering from trauma. But I think Hades really had to do this as well in the underworld, as he had to rewrite his story. And so part of rewriting his story, now he's rewriting this story with the beautiful Persephone, right? And now it's very sacred, so he has her protected, not just himself. He has them both sacredly protected. And now he's hyper-vigilant on anything else that could maybe ruin or wreck their story, right? And it's beautiful. It's something where he can provide that beautiful, sacred, loving protection, not like a possession protection, but a loving protection of, hey, I want to protect the sanctity of what we have now built and the healing that both you and I have done. So as he's going through this with Persephone, and he's trying to now rewrite this beautiful story where they now are both able to heal in the sanctity of their relationship, and they both don't give a shit about what anybody else thinks about them, whatever stories were made up about them, whatever legends kind of get put into story form about them. They didn't care. All they cared is that they now had a sacred union worth keeping, worth protecting, and they both were vigilant about protecting that sanctity and that relationship. And that's what's so beautiful about Hades and Persephone and the depth of the book that you're writing. And that's why I'm like, oh my gosh, it blows my mind, because when she's done with this book, I am telling you, it is going to be like bestseller, unreal. And then I can see movies getting made of this. Like, it's going to be a very beautiful thing. And it's going to bring sanctity back into all of our human souls, which you think, what is more needed today,
right,
in this world, right, than that sanctity. And when all of us have gone through something that's been hard or traumatic in our lives. And so to think, wow, I got this moment now where I can rewrite this story and reflect on what I've learned. So Hades had to kind of reflect on what he did learn from that first relationship. He had to reflect also on what he's learned from all these souls that have entered his underworld, right? So he has a wealth of knowledge that he's now like a sponge. He's like learning everything that he can, so that as he's building this sacred union with Persephone, he's going to take what he's learned and they then as a couple grow together And this growth is such a very beautiful, amazing thing, because they're helping each other in that sacred union heal. They might have had separate traumas, but they're both helping each other and being that. And so the transformation of pain into the purpose that they're creating. They're taking their pain and intertwining, healing, and now it's transforming into this beautiful purpose that they've created, which is this sacred union that goes far beyond the earthly life. It goes into the eternal life, right? And so that's what's so beautiful about it. So I'm going to kind of take that piece, turn it back over to Kara, let her kind of bring us home here. But this is such an important thing to, just in kind of a brief summary. So when you're healing from trauma, just like Hades kind of had to in that moment, you've got to feel in order to be able to heal. You got the reconnecting with the body that beautiful partner Persephone helped provide for Hades, and then you've got the rewriting of the story. And so that's kind of the summary there of what we just talked about. And so I'm going to turn the time back over to Kara.
Thanks, babe. That was amazing. So I'm going to read a quote here. And remember that in relationship, we each will take turns holding space for the other and being in the masculine energy for our partners. So whether Persephone is holding space for Hades' healing and integration of that peaceful somatic grounding, and to ground in that healing into him, or whether Hades is the divine masculine holding space for Persephone when she is healing. Remember that those energies, in partnership, we will take turns. We will go back and forth depending on the needs of our partner. So I'm going to read this quote. It says, "The man who is the right match and the equal of the divine feminine is the man she doesn't want to hide from. When she is willing to give him the parts of herself she used to guard and protect because she knows he has the strength to hold them, he is the man she shares everything with. There are no barriers anymore, and he does the same. Their relationship is infinite communion and sacred union at its highest and most reverent. Through their bodies and their words of worship to each other, they create their own religion. She is the temple, and he is the priest worshiping." And again, that would be, those roles will be reversed, right? We take turns holding space, loving, receiving, accepting, and giving unconditional love and safe touch and to each other. I love everything you said, babe. That was beautiful.
Yeah, I think too, I love what you're saying here with balancing the masculine and feminine energies, and that sometimes they will switch, and depending on your partner and what your partner needs. I love what you said there, because we all need safe containers when we're trying to heal things. We all also need to be safe containers for our partners when they need to heal. And so I love that, and your quote was spot on, that when you now can feel safe enough to trust letting go of that need to protect, right? That hypervigilance, when you're with the right person. And I think in Hades and Persephone's case, they both had now found the right person. In time, they finally found the right soul for them.
Yeah, they can let their guard down. I love what you said about finally being able to open up your heart, open up your lungs, and breathe and expand. And that can only be done in safety. And how Like Hades didn't even realize how tense he was until he's able to finally open up and fully breathe and fully inhale.
Yeah.
And it's because of that beautiful, safe love that he is receiving from Persephone.
Yeah.
When the feminine meets the masculine who is meant for her, she will feel it in her body. And this is what Hades was talking about, what you were talking about with Hades. So I'll change it to his. His body will soften when she looks in his eyes. He will recognize the vibration of her voice as home. His heart will naturally open as he feels both excitement and safety. He will want to share with her both the wild feminine expression and masculine protection and container. He will inspire her to bring out her creative talent, and she will feel that he is capable of holding space for all of her.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of having a deep, connected, sacred union. Not a surface level fling like the rest of the gods are doing, right? That can be easily replaced with the next person and the next person and the next person. This is about deep, real, raw, vulnerable, authentic love and sacred union. And that's what the only thing Hades would allow and accept. And that's what Persephone learns when she comes into his realm of safety, is what a beautiful thing that is, and everything she was missing living in that superficial world. And so next week we'll go in that direction and talk more about what Persephone learns from Hades and all the deeper parts of union and love and safety that was not available to her or to any of those other gods who live only on the surface.
Yeah, absolutely. And we hope you'll follow our show. We are definitely going to keep going with our Hades and Persephone and in preparation for Kara's book release. And so, but yeah, we're definitely happy to share this information. It's been beautiful for even our own marriage and relationship to study these things, to embody these things, to put these things into daily practices. And so feel free to join our email list. I'll let Kara kind of give you a little bit of information there, so that you will keep receiving updates to our book releases and things that we're doing, song releases, whatever else that we release, you'll have full access to. But we're very excited about all of this, and so.
It's our joy to do this work and bring it out to the world and help you guys along your healing journey as well. So yeah, you can go to healwithtyandkara.com and get on our email list. It's a free newsletter we're going to be sending out weekly, and it will have all the information. It'll have a lot of freebies in there that you can use along your way, like journal prompts and other tools and tips to use for sacred healing rituals and for your own healing journey. And if you want extra support from us in how you can start implementing these deeper sacred tools in your union with your partner, we have a couple of programs and a couple of options, and all that information will be on our website as well. So we'd love to support you on your journey and going deeper with us into what it really feels like to enjoy such a safe, beautiful, healing, and empowering and creative sacred union where we both get to thrive in love rather than,
right? And
Get traumatized by love.
and how amazing does it feel when you are going through the safety of a relationship that your lungs can actually say, I'm happy, you know?
Yes.
Or your lungs breathe and they're like, whoa, I've actually took a deeper breath than normal today, you know?
Yeah.
So that's...
And you fully trust that you are being heard, you are being respected, you are being held, have a partner who's showing up the way you need him to.
the way you deserve.
The way you deserve, yeah.
Absolutely. So, well...
So much more to come in these next episodes coming up. So follow along and please share on your social medias. Leave us a review. It means the world to us. For those that help us in that way, thank you so much.
Thank you.